My name is Kenzie with Gypsy Yoga by Kenzie. Today we're going to continue with the alignment series, and we're going to continue with Cobra pose. I will tell you the Sanskrit word, the benefits of the pose, how to get into the pose with correct alignment, modifications that you can do, and when you should avoid the pose. Cobra pose is a pose that you will see in almost every yoga sequence that you do because it's just a simple back bend that you can do to warm up your back muscles and your shoulder muscles and your arms and wrists as well. The Sanskrit word for Cobra pose is Bhujangasana. Bhujan means snake, and it's derived from the word bhuj, which means to bend or curve. And we know a lot of snakes like to bend and curve with their long, skinny little bodies. Cobra pose is a great pose to do to improve the mobility of your spine, to stretch out your chest, to strengthen your arms and your back. Not only does it strengthen those, it also stretches them as well. And it stretches your hip flexors and your abs too. One thing that I really love about Cobra pose is that it's a counter pose for the poor posture that we seem to have through our daily lives. It counteracts that and lets our shoulders and back go the opposite way than hunching over that we do almost every day. Another awesome thing about Cobra pose is that it's also great to ease lower back pain. So if you have a sore back, try doing a Cobra pose to kind of stretch those muscles and gain muscle back there as well, and it'll help ease the pain. You usually come into Cobra, Baby Cobra, or Sphinx pose from a chaturanga. So last week I did the chaturanga video. I'll place the link right here, and you can go and follow that. From that you would lead into your Cobra, your Baby Cobra, your up dog. So that way you will know how to move from a chaturanga into a Baby Cobra, Cobra, or an up dog, which we will do the video for that up dog next week. So we're gonna warm up to get into Cobra pose so your back can start getting warm and you'll be able to feel the actual benefits in Cobra pose. So the pose that we're gonna use to warm up is actually also a modification for Cobra pose, which is Sphinx pose or Baby Cobra. So let's go ahead and lay on our bellies all the way to the ground. We're gonna bring our elbows directly beneath our shoulders for Sphinx pose and our hands flat on the mat, and push into the mat with your hands, which also lengthens your spine and takes your shoulders away from your ears. Press the tops of your feet into the ground firmly, and that allows your knees to lift off the mat. So this really is a slight back bend in Sphinx pose. You want to make sure your elbows are directly beneath your shoulders away from your ears. You're pressing into the mat with your feet. So this is warming up the back just a little bit here in Sphinx pose. It stretches your abs a little bit, stretches your shoulders. This is a modification for Cobra pose. So we'll stay here for 2 breaths. Deep inhales and exhales, steady breaths. This is warming your back muscles up for your Cobra pose. On your next exhale, go ahead and release, taking your arms to your sides, laying the side of your head on the mat, letting your shoulders relax, taking your feet wide. And just relaxing, letting your back muscles relax. All right, we're gonna do Sphinx pose one more time. So take your elbows directly beneath your shoulders, press the ground away from you, press into the mat with your feet. Holding this for 2 breaths in Sphinx pose, looking straight ahead to you. You don't wanna put your head back too far because you don't wanna really mess up your neck. So maybe look at the ground about 2 feet in front of you to really lengthen your spine. Kind of tuck your chin into your chest, not massively, but just a little bit. Holding this for one more breath. And then go ahead and exhale and release your arms back down to your side. Do you feel your spine kind of warming up now? All right, come back up. But this time, we're gonna place our hands at our rib cages on each side. So we're gonna place our hands on the side of our ribs, a little bit above our ribs here. Press your elbows back towards each other. Press into the ground firmly with the tops of your feet so your knees lift off the ground. Take one breath, in through the nose and exhale. On your next inhale, press into the ground with your hands and your feet and lift your chest up into the air, keeping the tops of your hips on the ground. This is Cobra pose. So you can feel in your lower back that it's just a little bit more tense, right? Just make sure your shoulders are away from your ears, your elbows are pointing back, you're pressing into the ground with the tops of your feet. And this is a deeper stretch you can feel in your back, your shoulders, your abs, keeping the tops of your hip bones on the ground. One breath, and as you exhale, come down slowly and go ahead and release into the relaxation pose. So you can feel the difference between Sphinx pose and Cobra pose. They are slightly different, and each of them have their own ways of stretching, but both of them kind of do the same thing. So if Cobra pose is too much for you, I recommend going into Sphinx pose or baby Cobra. So baby Cobra is pretty much Cobra, but you don't go up as high. So when I told you to take your hands to your rib cage, pull your elbows back, pull your shoulders away from your ears, press into the mat with the tops of your feet firmly. This is baby Cobra. When you just lift your chest slightly, just slightly, not all the way up, but if you lift it just slightly, that is baby Cobra. Okay, so if Cobra is too much on your back, you can come into baby Cobra, or you can return into Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose is not as hard on the back, but it's still a great warm-up back bend that you can do. And try it one more time together, all right, everybody? So take your arms beside your ribs, press into the mat firmly with the tops of your feet, pull your elbows together, pull your shoulders away from your ears, look ahead of you, and when you inhale, lift up, pressing into the mat with your hands, lifting your chest up into the air. You want to keep the tops of your hips on the ground. So this is Cobra. Pressing into the mat with the tops of your feet, lifting your knees up off the ground, holding this for one breath. And as you exhale, slowly come down and back into your relaxation pose. So now that you guys know how to do Cobra pose, you can do this pose to gain flexibility and muscle in your lower back. It is great to do for any prep for any back bend. So let's say you're gonna do a camel pose or a bridge pose or a wheel pose. Those are massive back bends. You can start with Cobra pose and work your way up and warm up your spine to get to those massive back bend poses. There are a few reasons why you may want to avoid doing Cobra pose, and that is if you have wrist injuries, shoulder injuries, or back injuries. And the obvious reasons are that your wrists are bending here and they have a lot of pressure on them, and your shoulders are back and they have a lot of pressure on them, and same for your back as well. So I hope this helped you understand how to do Cobra pose just a little bit more. My next video will be on up dog, so stay tuned next week for up dog. If this video helped you, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more of these alignment series and yoga sequences weekly. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.